They went quiet, and something in you just broke. Not because of what they said, because of what they didn't say. You sat with it, the silence, the absence, the nothing. And within hours, you were already replaying everything. Every word, every look, every moment you might have gotten wrong. You weren't looking for the truth. You were looking for a reason to apologize. And they knew you would. That's not a coincidence. That's a strategy. They didn't go quiet because they were hurt. They went quiet because they were waiting for your chest to tighten, waiting for your hands to reach for your phone, waiting for you to break first. And you did. You always do. You typed the message. Maybe you deleted it. Maybe you sent it. Either way, you wrote it. Are we okay? Did I do something wrong? I'm sorry if I hurt you. There's a name for what just happened to you. Drop one word in the comments if you already feel it in your chest. You didn't apologize because you were wrong. You apologized because the silence was unbearable. That's not guilt. That's a trained response. Think about how long it took you to learn this. To reach for them the moment they pull away. To shrink the moment they go cold. You didn't arrive here by accident. So you chased. Every time. In every relationship since. And somewhere along the way, people learned that about you. Not because you told them. Because you showed them. You showed them that your panic is predictable. That your apology is available. That your silence has a price. And theirs doesn't. You handed them the weapon. You didn't know you were doing it. But you did. Drop. I see it in the comments if you know exactly who taught you to chase silence. You're not alone in this. Here's what their silence is actually doing. It's not processing. It's not space. It's not healthy distance. It's pressure. Invisible, deniable, weaponized pressure. Every hour they stay quiet, the pressure builds. You get more anxious, more confused, more certain that you're the problem. This is the invisible contract. Their silence is the punishment. Your apology is the only price of admission back into the relationship. And the cruelest part, they never had to say a single word to make you feel like you destroyed everything. They just stopped talking, and your own mind did the rest. Your brain filled every gap with the worst possible version of events. Every quiet moment became evidence against you. That's not weakness. That's what happens when someone's been trained to feel responsible for other people's emotions. You were the one who always made it okay. You were the one who always reached first. You were the one who couldn't survive the cold. And they learned that about you. And they used it, not always on purpose. Sometimes they don't even know they're doing it. The power just works, so they keep using it. But whether it's conscious or not, the effect on you is the same. Chest tight, mind racing, self-worth collapsing, apology forming. Every single time. Here's what you've never been told. You are allowed to let the silence sit. You are allowed to not reach, to not chase, to not send a message that's already written in your head. Not as punishment, not as a game, but as truth. Because if the relationship only resumes when you apologize for things you didn't do, that's not a relationship. That's a ransom. You start to notice it everywhere now. Not just with them, with everyone. A friend takes too long to text back, and your stomach drops before you even know why. A parent goes quiet at dinner, and you're already running through every word you said in the last hour, looking for the one that broke something. A boss doesn't respond to your email for a day, and somewhere in your body, you've already decided you're getting fired. This isn't paranoia. This is a nervous system that learned a long time ago that silence is never neutral. That silence is the moment right before the punishment lands. So you scan, constantly. You read tone into blank space. You build entire conversations in your head with people who haven't said a word. And every single one of those imagined conversations ends the same way, with you apologizing for something you're still not sure you did. This is why you reread your own texts after sending them. This is why you draft and delete and draft again. This is why K, from someone you love, can ruin your entire afternoon. It's not the message. It's the absence behind it. The shape of what isn't being said. And here's the part that's hard to sit with. You've gotten so good at filling silence with guilt that you don't even wait for them to go quiet anymore. You pre-apologize. You soften everything before it's even been challenged. You manage their potential silence before it happens, just to make sure it never does. That's not communication. That's preemptive surrender. And it's exhausting in a way most people around you will never understand. because from the outside, it just looks like you're easygoing, agreeable, low maintenance. Nobody sees the calculations running underneath. Nobody sees the version of you that's constantly negotiating for safety in rooms where no one even realizes a negotiation is happening. Here is something nobody tells you about hypervigilance. It doesn't just cost you peace, it costs you yourself. Because when every ounce of your attention is locked on reading someone else's silence, there's nothing left over to ask what you actually feel, what you actually want, whether you're even happy. You spent so long monitoring their mood that you've lost the thread of your own. You can tell within seconds if someone's energy shifts in a room. You cannot tell, most days, if you're tired or sad or simply done. That information used to belong to you. It got rerouted, all of it, toward them, toward keeping the peace, toward making sure the silence never starts in the first place. And the cruel irony is this. The more skilled you became at preventing their silence, the less anyone ever had to actually communicate with you. Why would they explain themselves when you'll do the emotional labor of guessing for them? Why would they say what's wrong when your anxiety will surface it before they even have to name it? You became so good at translating unspoken anger that people around you stopped speaking it altogether. They just got quiet and let you do the rest. This is not a flaw in your character. This is a skill you built under pressure, in conditions where the cost of getting it wrong was too high to risk. Somewhere, at some point, in some room you may not even remember clearly, you learned that staying tuned to someone else's silence was the only way to stay safe. And it worked. That's the part that's hard to hear. It worked. It kept you safe enough, long enough, to survive whatever room taught you this. But the room you're in now is not that room. The person across from you is not that person. And the skill that once saved you is now the exact thing keeping you small in front of someone who hasn't earned that level of vigilance. So here's the actual shift. Not pretending the fear isn't there. Not forcing yourself to feel calm when your whole body is bracing for the cold. The shift is smaller than that and harder. It's catching yourself mid-scan. Noticing the moment you start translating their silence into your failure and just pausing there, not fixing it, not sending the message, just noticing. There it is. That's the old pattern. That's not proof I did something wrong. That's just the alarm going off because silence used to mean danger. That single pause is the entire rebellion because the pattern doesn't need you to fight it. It needs you to stop feeding it automatically. Every time you let the silence sit for even 10 extra seconds before reaching for your phone, you're doing something your nervous system was never given permission to do before. You are choosing, not reacting, choosing. And the people who built this dynamic with you, whether they meant to or not, were counting on you never choosing. They were counting on the old wiring running the show forever. So when you pause, when you let it sit, when you don't reach, you are not being cold. You're not punishing them back. You're simply refusing to perform the apology they were never owed in the first place. Some of them will not know what to do with that. The silence might stretch longer than usual because the game stops working the moment you stop playing your part in it. That will feel unbearable at first. It is supposed to. Your body will scream that something is wrong because for years, something always was. But this time, nothing is wrong. You're just finally not the only one being asked to feel it. And you've been paying that price for a long time. The moment you stop chasing the silence, something shifts. Either they come back without the apology they were waiting for, and the whole dynamic begins to change, or they don't come back at all. And that tells you everything you needed to know about what they actually valued. Not you, the control. You were never hard to love. You were easy to silence. There's a difference. And it took you this long to learn it, because no one ever named it for you before. So let this be the moment it gets named. They went quiet to watch you break. They went quiet to hear you apologize. They went quiet because it always worked before. Until now.